I personally am sick and tired of every time we ask the question about pressure, we always got to go the route of players. When are we going to look at some of the coaches, particularly on a day that we call Black Monday? I would argue, why can't we call it White Monday, particularly when there's a bunch of white coaches getting fired? But that's just me. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
the question is,
Freddie Kitchens ain't black.
Ain't no black one's going to get the job.
How about that? Freddie Kitchens ain't black. All right, Pat Shermer ain't black. Jason Witten, about 1 o'clock today, he damn sure ain't black. He's going to be gone. So I don't understand why we call it Black Monday. But
So today, as you see, my boy Stephen A. Smith going off about Black Friday because coaches losing their jobs. And like he said, guess what? Ain't none of these coaches black. Why not call it White Friday? Because today is the day where mostly white people losing their jobs. Ain't no black people losing their jobs today unless it's according to, they were hired by the white people. You know what I mean? So I actually do feel them on that. You know what I mean? It's a lot of coaches out here getting fired, but guess what? The majority of them are going to be white. The GMs are going to be white. Most of the people getting fired are going to be white. It's just the way it is in the NFL right now. It's changing gradually, but as we speak right now, as we sit here today, it's going to be a bad day for some white people, you know what I mean, as opposed to a bad day for black people. So that's kind of funny that my man said, why ain't it called White Friday instead of Black Friday, because it's mostly white people getting affected today, which is true. But it does trickle down, and, right now the white people are deciding what black people get hired. So if you get white people out of there, if you get the wrong white people out of there that are hiring the black people, it does affect us, in the long run. But short term today, yeah, like he said, White Friday all day long. We don't got nothing to do with this. But like he said, why aren't we focusing on coaches? When it comes down to the blame, why are we always focusing on the players? I agree with him on that, but I don't agree with him on that on some points, like he says here.
When we talk about the person under the most pressure, my personal opinion is that it should be Sean Payton.
Wait a minute. So you say the most pressure that should be out here on a player or a coach should be Sean Payton for the playoffs. Why is that?
Last time I checked, Sean Payton has been the head coach for the Saints since 2006. He won a Super Bowl in 2009. Not only has he not won one since, he hasn't been to one since. Overall, in the 13 plus years he's coached, he's had the number one offense in the NFL 6 times.
Right. He had the number one offense in the NFL 6 times. Is that not due to coaching? You're giving it to Drew Brees, you're giving the praise to the team, but to have number one that many times, that's got to do with coaching. Anybody else we talking about, if we're talking about Bill Belichick right here, we're giving Bill Belichick all the credit. You know what I mean? Yes, the team is doing this and that, but guess what? We're giving Bill Belichick the credit for having the number one defense in the league. We're giving Bill Belichick the credit, the coordinators the credit for having the number one offense in the league. Tom Brady's this and that. Yeah, he's the game manager now, whatever you want to call it. But when it comes down to it, we're giving Bill Belichick that credit. How can you say we don't give the credit to Sean Payton, or we're giving the credit to Drew Brees instead of giving the credit to Sean Payton, who has had this consistency over this amount of years?
You have a quarterback who's a surefire future first ballot Hall of Famer in Drew Brees, who has 77,000 plus yards passing, a career percentage of 67% completion. 5,000 yard season, got about 5 on the books for himself.
77,000 plus yards passing. Hall of Famer, absolutely. Now, if you take a quarterback like a Tom Brady, we always put we always put Drew Brees into this category with a Tom Brady, a Peyton Manning, a Drew Brees, right? Now, out of all of these quarterbacks, what do they all have in common? Guess what? Drew Brees has the highest stats of every single one of them, but he has the lowest amount of wins, okay? When we're talking about consistency here, we're not talking about numbers. And I'm going to let you get back to it because I'm going to give you my personal opinion on Drew Brees in a minute. And I know it's going to be blasphemous and everybody's going to hate what I have to say. But if you look at the overall body of work, it's the truth. But go ahead.
Can you give the brother some help on On the defensive side of the ball, I'm speaking facetiously because we all know that the Saints this year, Ryan, is a better defense than they've been in recent memory. We know they're more physical than they've been in recent memory. But what I'm saying is, in totality, from 2006 to 2019, with a great quarterback like Drew Brees, you've been in one Super Bowl. Meanwhile, you're cussing people out and going off, complaining at the league office at every turn. Not to say it wasn't justified with that pass interference that wasn't called against the Los Angeles Rams.
And you just said it right there. It was justified. That's actually his job, to defend his team, to speak up when the players can't speak up because they're going to be fined. As a leader of men, you have to be able to do that. You have to be able to speak up for your boys, for your guys. You know what I mean? Otherwise, they're not going to respect you. They're going to see that you just sit around and take whatever the league is going to dish out. And, oh, we work for the NFL, so we have to follow these standards and we have to shut our mouth and this and that. No. I want somebody in there that's telling me, hey, I got you. Chill out. Don't say a word about it. I got you. Watch this. I'm going off. He's justified in his reasons for going off. I'm not a Saints fan at all. But when it comes down to it, if my team's getting robbed like that, I want my coach to say something. I want my coach to step up. I want my coach to be in somebody's face complaining every time. And guess what? If he's not doing that, for me, he's not doing my job. I mean, he's not doing his job. For me, he's not doing his job. He's just taking whatever they dish out. It's like a company man, basically. He's just being a company man, an NFL man. He's just shutting his mouth, not saying nothing. Oh, we get paid good to do this and that, and he's just taking whatever's being dished out. No, when you have an NFL team, when you have men on this team that give up everything and give their bodies and everything they have out on the field, guess what? You need somebody who's the leader to actually be a leader and speak up for them when they cannot speak up for themselves. Otherwise, you're going to have people just speaking out, people getting fined, people getting suspended, people speaking out against the refs, and it'll be all-out chaos. Sean Payton has been able to keep that locker room contained. He's been able to keep them together, keep them winning, and he's been able, no matter who has been in there, no matter who, the prime, I keep trying to tell people, the prime, the thing that shows you the most that it's Sean Payton that's actually winning out here is the fact that you throw Teddy Bridgewater in there and they keep on rolling. It's the same exact thing. Like I said, if this is Bill Belichick, if this is somebody else, then we're giving them all the credit in the world. But when it comes down to it, to the Saints, for some reason, we give Sean Payton little credit, but we give Drew Brees the most credit. I get it, guys. I definitely get it. It's Drew Brees. His stats are incredible. But when it comes down to it, who's actually winning these games? Who's actually scheming these games up? When it comes down to it, who's actually putting the games together that are putting Drew Brees in a position to get all these yards? Michael Thomas in a position to get all these receiving yards. You see what I'm saying? It's Sean Payton. It's not Drew Brees himself.
But there were a number of plays that were missed by the New Orleans Saints. How about when you ultimately lost in the playoffs the Seattle years before that? There have been a plethora of times when the New Orleans Saints have been in a position, we've looked at them, the miracle against Minnesota a couple of years ago when Stephon Diggs caught that pass, when you were going to the NFC Championship game. And I believe they would have beat the Eagles at Lincoln Financial Field that day, or had they gone to that NFC Championship game.
See that right there, Stephen A., that right there. You just said it's been a plethora of opportunities for the New Orleans Saints, not Sean Payton, the New Orleans Saints. When it comes down to it, this is a football team. They are out there making these plays or not making these plays. They are out there having to execute what's being schemed up. The scheme works. It's obvious. Like you said, if they don't get that egregious call last season, that's obviously a completed pass, and it's going the New Orleans Saints' way. You understand what I mean? I get everything that you're saying, but when it comes down to execution, Sean Payton cannot execute on the field. He can only execute mentally, and he's doing that. He's doing his job. He's done it for years consistently. No matter who he has in there, quarterback, running back, receivers, he's lost them all except for the quarterback. But when it comes down to it, you fill them in. It's the exact same scheme as the Patriots. Next man up, next game. That's the way they're doing it. He's scheming it the way he's supposed to be scheming it, if the execution is not there in the big play moments, that's not his fault. That's somebody else's fault, and that somebody else, I say, would be Drew Brees.
There are one missed opportunity after another under the stewardship of Sean Payton. He raises holy hell. He goes berserk. He calls out Roger Goodell. He calls out Troy Vincent. He calls out the league office. He calls out officials. He calls out everybody. But this guy has had Drew Brees as his quarterback since the day he arrived in New Orleans, and you have one Super Bowl appearance, even though it's a championship, one Super Bowl appearance to show for it.
When it comes to the major uplift your team, this is when we need it right now moments. Drew Brees is not there. Drew Brees is not executed. I'm sorry. In the regular season, maybe he's putting up 1 million stats. I get it. But when it comes down to we need this right now for this one win, Drew Brees is, I wouldn't pick Drew Brees. That's me. I would not pick him to lead my team on this one drive to win this game, period. In a big moment, I would not do it. So you have to think of it like that. Like I said, the difference between Tom Brady and the difference between Drew Brees, rings, winning in big moments. That's it. When it comes to the stats, I get what everybody's saying about Drew Brees. You can't take anything from him. That's great, but none of that counts when we're talking about winning championships and winning Super Bowls. And that's the difference. You cannot put it on Sean Payton just because he's had, like you said, he's had Drew Brees. He hasn't had Tom Brady. He's had Drew Brees. He's relying on Drew Brees to execute. If we're saying the schemes are wrong, the time management is wrong, anything like that, I get it. It's falling on the coaches, on the coach staff. But we're talking about execution on the field, and that cannot fall on Sean Payton. Yeah, so like I said, that's just my opinion on it, guys. You know, when it comes down to it, you can't put the blame on or the pressure on just Sean Payton. You know what I mean? It's got to be on the people actually playing on the field, and that's going to be Drew Brees in this instance. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm not saying he's not good. I'm not saying he's garbage, but he's a stat stuffer. Call it what it is. You know what I mean? I'm not a Drew Brees fan like that. You know, he's a stat stuffer, and when it comes down to it, he doesn't get the job done when the job needs to get done. I don't care what you say about that last play last year. Yeah, stuff could have been done differently, but they still had an opportunity even after that to get it done, and he didn't get it done. So when it comes down to it, it's the people on the field playing the game. You know what I mean? So, like I said, say whatever y'all gonna say. Leave a like, leave a dislike. I really don't care, but leave something. You know what I mean? Definitely leave a comment telling me what you think about Drew Brees and Sean Payton. Who should have the most pressure? Y'all let me know in the comments. What are y'all thinking? What do y'all think about Drew Brees? You know, is he really a Hall of Famer? I'm not gonna say he's not a Hall of Famer, but is he really a quarterback that you would want to win your championships? Let me know and comment below. Like I said, I know it's blasphemy. Say whatever you're gonna say. That's my opinion on it. That's my take. You know what I mean? This your boy Big BINC signing out.